Drive In with Solomon Jones and Drive Home with Nick Taliaferro. We are 900 AM WURD Philadelphia and 900 AM WURD.com. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any show on 900 AM WURD do not necessarily reflect those of ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
Found out on my way to Harlem, Ellington, you don't live around here. He moved away one day, so they say, from Harlem. I can hear his echo still. Now, you can't keep me away from where I was born. I was baptized by my daddy's horn. pretend he don't live around here. He moved away one day, so they say, away from Harlem. I can hear his echoes clear. Oh, now you can't keep me away from where I was born. I was baptized by my daddy's horn. No, you can't keep me away from where I was born. I was baptized by the sound of horn. Oh, I found out my way through Harlem. Marvin Gaye used to play What's Going On right over there. I sure could use some of those blues from Langston Hughes. Hey, there goes that A train. Hey, there goes that A train through Harlem. Hey, there goes that A train.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the Jazz Kitchen. I'm your host, Brother Ben, and we're on WURD 900 AM. And I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody out there in Radio Land. I'd like to say happy holidays and good day to my tri-state listeners. And I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim community and Ramadan Mubarak. Wow, it's great to be here tonight. You know, this is a very special weekend, and I'm just so glad to get back in the seat. You know, I wait all week for my show, and people call me during the week and want to get the CDs and the tapes and love the music that we're playing here. Reach out to people in the audience. You know, a lot of people are off tomorrow for the 4th of July, and let them know that the Jazz Kitchen is on WURD 900 AM. You can listen to us on the web, which is of Direct Connect 900 AMWRD.com. Again, if your computer, hook it up to your Bluetooth, to your speakers, and listen to us direct on 900 AMWRD.com. And tonight, if you want to call in and put in some requests and talk about anything you want to talk about in jazz, don't hesitate to call us at 215-634-8065 and toll free 866-361-0900. The weather is fabulous. It's been overcast all day, acting like it's going to rain, but not this weekend. It's July 4th, man. We're going to have some fireworks. The town's on fire. There are parties and things going on. We're down here on the river, and everything is jumping, and the Jazz Kitchen is going to jump. I'd like to let you know that this show is sponsored by TrainOcean.com. It's sponsored by Fine Line Auto Spa, and it's also sponsored by Rouvar Travel Inc. up in Germantown. Today, we had our show on earlier from 4 to 5. Safe Talk was a fabulous show. Topic was today on how to be safe when you're traveling abroad due to all the terroristic events that we've had. You people out there, man, just hold on. You know, pay attention, turn on some of these channels, these news channels, and find out what's going on out here in the world, so that when you do travel abroad, that you know how to be safe. So, every week from 4 to 5, Safe Talk comes on, and it's a fabulous program that tells you how to keep safe. You're listening to 900 AM URD, the Jazz Kitchen. y'all. That's that fabulous Jonathan Butler. We gonna keep this jazz moving tonight. You're listening to WURD. You're listening to the Jazz Kitchen with your host, Brother Ben. Y'all keep it on and let your friends know that this is the Jazz Kitchen. All right. Listening to Norman Brown. This is holiday weekend. Hope everybody out there in Philly doing well. The day was a great day. We still got tomorrow. Everybody got tomorrow off, and it's good, man. Give us some time to, do some things around the house. This weekend in Philadelphia, they've been setting up all weekend down the Parkway. They're doing a thing on Philly International, a tribute to Philly. Not a bad selection. We are a music town. Philadelphia International, Gamble and Huff have a very, very vast catalog out there, and they're going to be playing music all day tomorrow, and then I guess the grand finale is the fireworks. And coming into the studio tonight, seeing a lot of fireworks inside, the city of Philadelphia and in some of the neighborhoods. This is an opportunity for people to just celebrate, man. This world, we're in a big mess right now going on out the country. I want everybody to be safe and be aware of what's going on. But that's why we got the Jazz Kitchen here on WURD, to give you some idea and some time to, have something to listen to that's good and the good smooth jazz. We got Jill Scott, Homegrown. Congratulations, sister. She got married. Got a beautiful child. She getting it in, man. That's our sister. So, without no further ado, Mrs. Jill Scott.
Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. Jumped out of bed, took a shower, dressed, cleaned up my place, made me some breakfast, toast, 2 scrambled eggs, grits, grab my keys, grab my purse, grab my jacket off to work, beaming all the way down the. Is it the way you love me, baby? Is it the Can't wait to get home. Coming out. Nah, girl, I got something else to do. Damn, Jill, don't be fronting on your girls, for real. Go ahead, really get your groove on. 'Cause tonight my man's coming through. Yeah, we gon' have to connect some other time. As much as I like to shake my thing on the dance floor, I got another nasty freaky just right where you're mine. Tonight, I'm gonna beat the high score. Is
right, man. That's my girl Jill, man. I can just see it now, man, down the 5 spot. Her and Vivian Green and all Carol and all them, man, they was getting it in. They used to, man, we got to bring this back to Philly, man. You know, because we put out some of the best people, whether they're acting, singing. You know, we put out the Jazz Kitchen. We got WURD, Philly International. You know, this is Philadelphia, man. This is where 4th of July started, man. We got the fireworks and everything going. So listen, I want to say out there to everybody out there in the WURD community, man, tell everybody about the Jazz Kitchen, and tell everybody, listen, this is Black Talk Radio, WURD, Black Talk Media. All right, Mr. Ken Navarro. Wow, making that, boy, that's just putting us right in the groove. We're gonna keep this thing moving, and we're gonna keep that jazz flowing. You know, you're listening to WURD 900 AM, the Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben. right. The great late George Duke. Brother's fabulous, man. He's been out for, he's been in this business for so many years. Wrote, produced, arranged for so many people. I had the opportunity before he passed on to catch him at the Blue Note in New York with Stanley Clarke, man. It was unreal. They were both playing, and Stanley popped a string on the bass, and he looked over to George, told him, go ahead and don't take this thing out. And George got into some old pieces that he did. I mean, the man is remarkable, and it was just an honor to be able to see him. Like I told you, New York, man, I was up there for about 6 or 7 years, and when I had an opportunity for some pastime, all I did was frequent jazz spots, and I've seen everybody up there, man, you know. And like I said, in the winter, well, not in the winter, I'm sorry, in the summer, on Wednesday nights, they have that jazz cruise, and you get to see a little bit of everybody up there. So, you know, I just want to keep people abreast of different things that are happening in our area and in the New York area on the jazz scene. Like I said, tomorrow on the drive they're going to have in front of the Art Museum, the Philly International Sound, and I know that's going to be all that. So we're going to, like I said, keep this thing moving. And coming up real soon, you know, we got the Las Vegas Jazz Connection with Brother Dwayne. So it's going to be fabulous this week. We're featuring Jeff Lober. So we can't wait. So we'll get to that real soon. Right now, we're going to keep this thing moving and listen to some good smooth jazz on WURD 900 AM, The Jazz Kitchen. Well, that's Mr. Lober. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my man with the Las Vegas Jazz Connection. We have Brother Dwayne. What's going on, brother?
Brother Ben, how you doing, sir?
Wow, I wait all week, man, to hear your voice, man. You're so far away from me, and I can't wait for our opportunity to share with the tri-state area, your research and I know you love jazz, and to have you a part of my show, and I just can't wait, man. So what you got for us this week?
Okay, first of all, I want to say hello to all the WURD listeners in Philadelphia and on the World Wide Web. And just give you an update here in Las Vegas on the jazz scene. We have Kurt Whalen here on the 9th, Earl Klugh on the 30th, and Peter White August the 13th. Tonight's highlighted artist is Philadelphia's own, the legendary Jeff Lober. His instruments of choice has always been the piano, the keyboard, and the guitar. Now, most musicians of the 70s and the 80s normally played more than one instrument. This is why on so many of the albums produced during the 70s and 80s, you see some of the same artists listed on the albums. Early on, Jeff picked up some solid grooves when he was a teenager by playing piano with a number of R&B groups. Now, Jeff ended up going to the college at the famous Berklee College of Music in Boston. Now, I don't know if you remember last week we talked about Bob James. Bob James actually went to Berklee School of Music up there in Boston. Now, if back in the 70s, if you want to have or gain some skills or knowledge, you had to go to the University of Berkeley, because at the University of Berkeley, they had the who's who in the jazz world. Now, just to name a few of the people that went to the University of Berkeley, not the one in California, this is the one in Boston. You had Al Demiola. You had Philadelphia own Kevin Eubanks. You had Donald Fagen, who played, part of Steely Dan. You had Layla Hathaway. You have Diana Krall. You have Branford Marcellus. You have John Schofield. And you had that heavy hitter, Jeff Taint Watts, who was a drummer. But you had the legendary Quincy Jones, who went to that Berklee College of Music. Now, most schools, you have a tiger or a lion as a mascot. Berkeley's mascot is Mingus the Jazz Cat. Now, there that is. Now, getting back to Jeff Lober, in 1977, he pulled together his first group, which was called the Jeff Lober Fusion. And that was actually the title of his first album. That fusion sound back then was influenced by jazz fusion practitioners such as Herbie Hancock, The Weather Report, and Return to Forever, which, consists of Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, Lenny White, and John LePonte. Now, that Return to Forever group had some of the other notable jazz artists out there back in the day, which was Berto, which was Flora Purim's husband, Earl Klugh, and Stephen Gadd. Jeff did about 9 albums, live studio albums from 1977 to 81. From 1981 to 2010, he didn't do any fusion albums anymore. So he went for about 30 years not creating any fusion albums. But out of them 9 albums, the first 5 was done between 77 and 81. And then them 5 albums that he done then, in 1979, he had an awesome hit on that very popular album called Water Sign. Now, on that album, he had a cut which was called Rain Dance. And that Rain Dance, most people who's not in the jazz world may remember that from a 1996 album, Look by Lil' Kim, which had a single on it called Crush on You. It was also sampled by SWB in 1997, on a track called Love Like This. There's an album in 1980, which was Wizard Allen, introduced a saxophone player named Kenneth Gorlick. Now, most people know him later on as Kenny G. Now, while he was not doing his fusion work or in his fusion projects, pressing forward with his solo career from 1982 to the present, his solo career was super hot. He produced a total of 14 albums. He was nominated for a Grammy in 2005 for that album called Flipside. In 2013, he was nominated for a Grammy on that album called Hasadenda. Now, both of these was in the Best Pop Instrument category. I'm going to go back a little bit. In 2003, he did a very popular album, which was a dedication to Philadelphia listeners altogether, which he called Philly Style. And that album had a picture of a Philadelphia pretzel on there. And every time I see that album, I think about Philadelphia and them delicious pretzels back there in Philadelphia.
All right.
You can actually hear Jeff Lober each week. He has his own show on Sirius Radio.
Right. All right. I mean,
okay.
I know he's definitely, I hear he's from Cheltenham. Matter of fact, I was at a cookout today in Cheltenham, but I always remember, and I think you might have been with us that night. We seen him at the Bijou back in the 70s, and I remember again, like I was saying at the time when I seen George Duke and Stanley Clarke and Stanley's string broke, but this particular night at the Bijou, something went wrong with his keyboard, and he gave Kenny G the floor, and that's the first time I had seen Kenny G. He was a young boy, and that's when I was introduced to him.
Yes, sir.
All right. So
my favorite out of all the albums he had was that 1995 album, which it was called titled West Side Story.
All right.
That cut on there, that piece, Grasshopper and Point Venus, and that favorite love song, which was called Say Love, is the tops. But he always did some powerful work.
All right. So what's going on out there in Vegas? You said you got a couple shows going on. How's the weather out there?
The weather's about 110. We got up to about 110 degrees today. It was extremely hot. But, we listen to cool jazz down here in Las Vegas.
Okay. They have jazz stations out there, or are you listening from something from California? How far does the signal flow out there?
Well, the signal is very strong out here, but we listen to WURD out here in Las Vegas more so than any other station.
Wow. Okay.
We picked that up very easy off the World Wide Web.
All right. And you're letting people know about the Jazz Kitchen, right?
Without a doubt, each week.
Now, who do we have in store for next week, or are you keeping it a surprise?
No, well, you know what? Since you was talking about Philadelphia music earlier, I thought we would go and listen to put on deck Charles Earlin.
Wow.
Who's out of Philadelphia.
Wow. Okay. What instrument did he play?
Charles played the organ. He was very famous for the organ.
Right.
He started off with another instrument, and I'm going to hold off on that, and he had some special guests similar to Kenny G showing up on. His first break was with Jeff Lober.
Okay.
Someone else out of Philadelphia caught their first break with Charles Earlin.
Okay.
And I will let the listeners know next week.
All right. So before you leave here, you got to give us a word. It's the 4th of July. How you going to leave us this week? What message you going to leave with us?
I got a strong message for you this week. And I'm going to read something to you that I read today. And the title of it, the words of motivation for the day is Rise to the Challenge. And it goes, when confronted with a challenge, take the golden opportunity to rise to that challenge. You most certainly can do that. And when you do, you will move your own life and the world around you positively forward. Throughout history, the toughest challenges are what have brought about the most valuable and lasting achievement. Those who are challenged, when they rise to their challenge, grow stronger. It's already happened in your life. You survived every challenge that has come your way, and each one has made you stronger. You learn, you grow, you gain confidence and wisdom. See each challenge for the opportunity it is. It may be painful and difficult, uncomfortable and scary, and yet you have what it takes to transcend that challenge and grow stronger as a result. After you have gone through that challenge, you will look back at it and you'll be thankful for the value gained in that experience. Rise to that challenge and you'll raise your expectations, your confidence, your competence, and your ability to levels higher than ever before.
Wow. My brother, with the Las
Yes,
Vegas
sir.
Jazz Connection, with Brother Dwayne, we can't wait until next week to hear from you. I want to say assalamu alaikum to you, my brother. Peace and blessings, and can't wait to hear from you next week. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Salam.
All right. All right, all right. Oh, that was fabulous, man, with the Las Vegas Jazz connection with the good brother Dwayne. He hit it again right on the head, getting back down with, letting us know our homegrown brother there, Mr. Jeff Lober. I always had Jeff Lober in my collection. Like I said, years ago, I caught him at the Bijou, and that's when I was first introduced to, Kenny G. But Jeff Lober, man, he works with a lot of people. He likes rhythm and blues. He does a little producing, and he's hot right now. He's got a lot of good things out right now. He's performing somewhere out west. I know he's coming, this way soon. We got a couple theaters here, the Keswick, the Schubert, and Academy, and different places, and we got to get someone to bring him in, man, because he's fabulous. And it was very good to hear brother Wayne break, brother Dwayne, man, he does his research, man. He breaks it down. It's good to have your kids or whatever, if they up this time of night, since they don't have to go to school tomorrow, get them to listen to this jazz, get them to introduce them to them instruments. It's not always basketballs and footballs. Let them pick up a clarinet or a piano, man. They'll be one of the next Chris Bodie's or the next David Benoit's or the Earl Clues. It's nothing like music. And these young kids, they love music, singing and whatever. But, let your kids listen to jazz. Jazz is awesome. Some of the rap that you hear, they sample jazz. New Edition sampled a lot of Grover and Idris Muhammad and Quincy and all. They sample that music. That's where they get that beat from. But I appreciate everybody listening. Let everybody know that every Sunday from 10 to midnight, the Jazz Kitchen. Let them know about Brother Dwayne from the Las Vegas Jazz Connection. This brother's going to come at us, and pretty soon when he gets in the Philadelphia area, he's going to come in to the studio with me and co-host and be right here live. As you know, I've been working this thing by myself tonight because my good partner, the brother Daryl Jones is in Vegas. Now, Daryl's down in Jamaica. He's down there getting that sun, eating that good jerk chicken down there with them good brothers, and we're going to touch base with him in the second half of the show, and he's going to tell us what's going on down there, if he's ran into any jazz. I know they got a lot of reggae down there, but down there with them good brothers, and we're going to touch base with him in the second half of the show, and he's going to tell us what's going on down there, if he's ran into any jazz. I know they got a lot of reggae down there, but they got to have some jazz down there. But you're listening to WURD, you're listening to Brother Ben with the Jazz Kitchen, and we're going to keep this thing moving.
Get your mojo working with Steph Renee. Middays. We are 900 AM WURD Philadelphia and 900 AM WURD.com. Pennsylvania's only black-owned talk radio station.
right. Well, we're going to take this time to pay a couple bills here. I got some of my sponsors that I want to talk about. One of our main sponsors this week is Fine Line Auto Spa Auto Detailing. My brother there, proprietor, Mr. David Parker, takes care of both my cars. He's at 260 West Washington Lane in the Philadelphia, Germantown area. And they do a fine job. They're into exterior wash, hand wash. Ain't nothing like getting your car hand washed. I advise that anybody with a new car, you should have your car wash and wax at least once a month. But they do interior shampooing, deodorizing, and do your carpets, do everything, you know. And especially you guys with those dark cars, you should get your car waxed at least twice a month, you know, to take care of your car. Because when you do bring it back for, you know, resale or try to sell it, people definitely go on you know, the appearance of the car. You know, this company here also does a lot of, you know, ding removal, wear repair, to do window tinting, pinstriping, do a lot of headlight repairing, and coming soon, they'll also be doing official inspection. So Fine Line Auto Spa Auto Detailing is in 260 West Washington Lane in the Germantown area. Proprietor is Mr. David Parker. If you need to call them for appointment, it's 267-275-3572. Again, 267-275-3572. One of our main sponsors here today with the show. One of our other affiliates today is Thomas Mortgage Company in Jenkintown. You have Michael Thomas. This is one of the proprietors and owners of that particular company. Does all type of financing for, you know, first home buyers, veterans. He works a lot with a lot of people that are looking to flip properties for investments. Thomas Mortgage is very aggressive, has actually different departments in the company to help you restore and get your credit straight. You know, a lot of people out here have credit issues from different things that they've done in the past, but that doesn't stop you from buying property. They have situations with low money down, or, you know, even sometimes with a lot of money down can guarantee you loans. So Mike Thomas from Thomas Mortgage Company will definitely work it out for you. In order to reach Mr. Thomas, you have to call him at 703-896-2116. Again, 703-896-2116. Thomas Mortgage Company of Jenkintown. Mike Thomas, the proprietor. Please give him a call. Let him know that you heard his company on WURD 900 AM. Again, one of our other sponsors tonight is Our Revar Traveling Inc. in Germantown. Address is 6373 Germantown Avenue. Kelly Foster is the travel consultant. Very good company, family owned. If you ever want to book a trip anywhere, they will definitely advise you and get you good rates on anywhere that you would like to travel, whether it's abroad or somewhere in the United States. Kelly Foster, which is one of the owners of the company, Miss Foster is a travel consultant. You can reach her at 215-848-2220. Again, 215-848-2220. And remember that the show is also sponsored by TrainOSHA.com, which is a construction management company that teaches the OSHA training, which is the 10 and the 30-hour OSHA certification that you need to work in the city of Philadelphia. We have two locations, one in North Philly at the Beckett Life Center on 16th Street, and we also have our school in Northeast on Cotman Avenue. You can reach TrainOSHA.com at area code 215-678-0470. Again, the number is 215-678-0470. TrainOSHA.com. You are listening to WURD and the Jazz Kitchen with your host, Brother Ben. right, boy. That Bobby Loud, man, he do something with that sweet taboo. Man. I know we should be hearing something soon from Sade. You know how she do. She take a little time off, put that thing together. But when she come back at you, man, she comes strong, man. With that strong band she has. But this boy, he does a thing with that sweet taboo. You got that boy, Bobby Loud. We gonna keep this thing moving. You're listening to the Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben.
Was I to know that my soul belonged to you? Ball and chain, ball and chain. For the rest of my life, I'm your prisoner. Might as well be ball and chain, like a beast who can't be tamed, or a ticket with no claim, just to know the pain, to know the pain. Meet me in the heather, over by the crack, ball and chain, ball and chain. To the raise my glass in a toast to be the first. It's a blessing and a curse. Will I write my second verse before my heart bursts? Before I burst, my ball and chain, ball and chain. Chain, like a beast who can't be tamed, or a ticket with no claim. Race life to be the first. It's a blessing and a curse. Will I write my second verse before my heart bursts? Insane, too much pain. Feels like a ball and chain, like a beast who can't be tamed, or a ticket with no claim. Slay to your rhythms and all of your whims, and then here I go again.
Oh, that's the great late George Duke and the great late Tina Marie. Imagine them two together. See, you're going to hear different things on the Jazz Kitchen, man. I go out there and I do all my research and I try to find them special tunes that I know going to, get my audience, man. So, always, tell your friends, man. You can hear us 365 days, 24 hours a day on YouTube, The Jazz Kitchen. Just go to The Jazz Kitchen and punch in Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben. We have 30 different volumes of jazz music. And you can purchase these jazz CDs in several locations over the city of Philadelphia. One of our main locations is First Decision out there on 40th Street between Chestnut and Sampson Street. Brother Ty's out there. We have our CDs on sale there. You also can get your CDs at Michael's Barbershop and Salon at Ogons and Cheltenham Avenue. He has plenty of my CDs there. We have the antique store 2 doors from Michael, where you can also purchase them there also. And you can purchase them at the Philadelphia Hair Company with Mark Lightfoot at Germantown and Price Street, and now at Fine Line Auto Supply and Spa and Auto Detailing, 260 West Washington Lane. Our CDs are on sale there also. And these CDs that we make, the profits and money from it helps support and feed the homeless in the tri-state area. We feed the homeless every morning. We go to the train stations and some of the bus stops and on the parkway where some of the homeless people are living. They have a lot of tent cities out, and we go and we feed them. Our faith teaches us to give back every day, and this is one of the ways that we do it. So your contribution to the Jazz Kitchen goes, it's a tax. You can write it off on your taxes at the end of the year. We'll give you any kind of form that you need, but we do appreciate your donations. A lot of brothers see me on the street and they say, man, give me one of them CDs, because we at least put 15 different records on them, and everything is just right in line. That brother, man, that puts that together, Mr. Darryl Jones, like I said, we're going to talk to him in the show in a little bit. He's down there in Jamaica taking a break this week. He's allowed. He works hard. He's the one that puts this deal together. You're listening to WURD, The Jazz Kitchen, with your host, Brother Ben. brother's unreal, man. I seen that brother, Mr. Simpson, down at South about 2 Thursdays ago, man. He was awesome, man. He was down there. That brother has that thing every Thursday night. The brother Gerald Beasley has that project down there at South. The Bynum brothers, you know, they done did it again, man. They got a beautiful place down there. People need to go and patronize them. You know, they're from Zanzibar Blue, Warm Daddies, Relish, and a place up in Chestnut Hill called Paris. But now they got a new place on Broad Street called South. And every Thursday night, the brother Joe Beasley has a project where he brings different people in. He actually plays an instrument along with the group. So I had a good time down there. Got an opportunity to meet some people, and somewhere in the near future I hope to do some things with them, and so they can let people know about the Jazz Kitchen. Again, like I said to you, all this music that you hear, we have them on CDs. They're on sale all around the city, and the proceeds from the CDs is to try to feed some of the homeless people out here. I want to thank everyone for just listening to us tonight. I mean, we're not going anywhere, but I always like to, thank people for listening and letting other people know around the city about the Jazz Kitchen every Sunday night from 10 to midnight. And again, if you want to hear us during the week, and just tune right into YouTube, and the shows are put on YouTube, and we also have our volumes. Like I said, we're up to volume number 30. So this is Brother Ben, your host on the Jazz Kitchen. We're going to keep this thing moving. The great Messa. I hope my better half is listening, because that was for you. Y'all listening to the Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben. right. That's that man, boy. Marion Meadows, man. I ride that to work every morning, man. I can't wait to put that on. Man, he does his thing, man. We're going to see him this August. He will be on one of the jazz cruises on Wednesday night up there on the Hudson. Marion Meadows, man, he's a bad boy, man. He plays a lot with a lot of different artists. People love him. He always brings a nice female vocalist on. He's all that, man. I've been listening to Marion Meadows for years, man. Gonna keep this thing moving. This is WURD, the Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben. had to throw a little Pat Metheny in there for my brother out there in Vegas, brother Dwayne. He loves that Pat Metheny. Well, you know, I've been working this thing alone. I know best y'all can tell, because when the arranger's here, Mr. DJ, Mr. Darryl Jones, everything is always on point. But I tried my best tonight. He's gonna be a little mad with me. I left a couple of things home rushing, but I did my best. But my man down there in Vegas, and I told him we were gonna reach out to him tonight. So let me, brother, are you there, brother? Straight from Vegas? Are you there?
Good evening, Brother Ben. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm a little jealous, man. You down there eating that good jerk chicken, man, having some of that rum punch. What's going on down there in Jamaica?
Hey, man, it's all good here in Jamaica, man. The weather is fine. We had like 86 degrees today. A little rain this morning, but other than that, beautiful day. Okay. Now, I had to ask you earlier, any jazz down there? What's going on? You got to hip them. I know it's a lot of reggae, but what's up with the jazz? Yeah, it's a lot of reggae, but you got a lot of reggae. A lot of jazz artists here too, like Ernest Ragler, Marjorie Wiley, Rico Rodriguez, Dennis Brown, Coleridge Goody, Grace Jones, Pam Hall, Keisha Turner. It's quite a few. All right, it's a bunch, Well, we do miss you up here. The things run real smooth. Me and this fabulous engineer here, Mr. Nixon, he been working with me, beating me up and keep me in line. But we making it happen. Now, are you able to get a feed down there? Have you been listening to us? Yeah, I've been listening. I listened to the show earlier today, and also I've been listening to this show also. Oh, good, man. We miss you, man. We can't wait for you to get back. And, listen, man, I'm going to take a little break and leave you at the helm. I ain't got to worry, but I know you're going to have everything in line. You and Mr. Nixon here, you're good people, man, and you're teaching me every day. I'm learning something. Like, I'm glad you heard the show today. I had a good show today with Safe Talk. We had a good, topic. We talked about traveling abroad and being safe. Safe Talk is a program and a platform telling people how to be safe. And, I was a little worried. I know you were traveling. How was, getting on the plane and getting everything checked in? Everything go smooth? Oh, yeah. Airplane. At the airport, man. Everything was smooth. Security was awesome, man. We left. We got there about quarter after, maybe about 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8. Plane, what I'm saying? Everything was fine, man. Good. Well, we miss you here. We can't wait for you to get back. I was not going to have the show without touching base with you. We had the Las Vegas Jazz Connection on this evening with Brother Dwayne. He misses you, and I always worry about you, brothers, because I know y'all like to travel. You travel at least 2 or 3 times a year. You deserve it. You're a hard-working brother, and we can't wait to have you back next week. So with parting, man, be good and be safe, and I'll see you when you get back. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Now listening to the Jazz Kitchen with Brother Ben.
Boy, that's that Najee, boy. That man ain't no joke. Like I said, this August 17th on a Wednesday night, he's going to be on that jazz cruise on the Hudson, and he's going to be with David Benoit. So that's going to be an awesome concert. I got about 2 or 3 couples of my friends. We're going up as couples, and we're going to spend a couple days in New York, and I'm going to treat them to see Najee and David Benoit on the Hudson River. This is WURD. This is the Jazz Kitchen with your host, Brother Ben. All right. We're coming up on the hour, almost near the end of the show, and I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to the Jazz Kitchen that comes to you every Sunday from 10 to midnight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to Safe Talk from 4 to 6. And I would like to thank my sponsors, trainosha.com. I'd like to thank Thomas Mortgage Company. I'd like to thank R. Rivar Traveling Inc. in Germantown. And remember, the CDs you can purchase at First Decision on 40th Street Street between Chestnut and Sansom. You can also purchase them at Michael's Salon and Barbershop at Ogant's and Cheltenham Avenue. And you can also purchase them at the Philadelphia Hair Company on Germantown Avenue. And one of our new sponsors, Fine Line Auto Spa and Auto Detailing at 260 West Washington Lane. I want to thank everyone. I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. Please be safe out there, and tell all your friends in the city, in the tri-state area, and my New York listeners to tune in every week to the Jazz Kitchen on WURD. We want to thank the Las Vegas Jazz Connection with Brother Wayne. He did a fabulous job. He's going to be getting into some new artists every week, and I want to thank him. He's been good to me. He's my friend. Daryl down there in Jamaica, man, thank you for being around and helping me put this piece together. And without my producer and my engineer, Mr. Eric Nixon, this would not be possible. He teaches me and he shows me. He's my mentor, man. He's showing me how to make this thing happen. This is all new to me. It's a new venture. I'm glad that everybody's hanging in there with me and, participating in my show and supporting me. And as signing off, like the good Reverend says, keep it real. And like I say, in order to get down, you got to get in deep. This is Brother Ben, your host on WURD, The Jazz Kitchen. Peace.